All right, let's get right into it. If you've been thinking about studying in Canada, you really need to stop everything and listen up. The entire game has changed. We are looking at a massive, fundamental reset of Canada's international student policy. And the rules for 2026? They're a complete rewrite of everything that came before.
And that quote right there, man, it just says it all. The days of just picking a school you like and assuming there's a clear path to working in Canada after graduation, those days are officially done. This isn't a small tweak, it's a total overhaul.
And this number is just, wow. It's staggering. For 2026, Canada is targeting a cut of almost half in the number of new international students it plans to bring in compared to the year before. That is a huge reduction, and it means the competition for one of those spots is about to get incredibly fierce.
So, let's break down exactly what this shrinking welcome mat looks like. Because the numbers, well, they tell a very, very clear story about where the government is heading.
This chart shows you the big picture trend. And yeah, it's heading straight down. That target of 408,000 permits for 2026 isn't just for new students, by the way. It also includes extensions for people who are already in the country. The total number of permits Canada is willing to issue is dropping year after year.
And this is the most important part to understand. While the total cap is going down, the number of spots available for new students arriving from abroad is just plummeting. We're talking a drop from over 300,000 spots down to a mere 155,000. The message couldn't be more blunt. Canada is slamming the brakes on volume and is getting way more selective.
So you've got to be asking, why the dramatic U-turn? What's going on here? Well, the Canadian government has actually been pretty direct about its reasons, and it all boils down to managing population growth and the pressure that puts on the country.
These are really the three main pillars of the whole new policy. First, there's a hard target. They want to get the number of temporary residents, that includes students, below 5% of Canada's total population by 2027, period. Second, it's about relieving the incredible pressure on housing and healthcare. And third, it's a strategic move to be smarter, to align the skills of students they bring in with the actual jobs Canada needs to fill.
And you know, we're already starting to see some early signs that these changes are having an effect. This headline from late 2025 shows that in areas with lots of students, the rental market is starting to cool off, which, of course, was one of the main goals from the get-go.
And get this, TD Economics estimated that without these cuts, Canada's unemployment rate could have soared past 8%. So you can think of this policy as a kind of preemptive strike to keep the job market stable during some pretty rocky economic times.
Okay, now let's get to the most important part for any of you thinking of coming to Canada. How do you actually get in now? What are the new rules you absolutely have to live by?
First things first, you have to understand the PGWP, the Post-Graduation Work Permit. For years, this was the golden ticket. It's the key that unlocks your ability to stay and work in Canada after your studies. And for most people, it's the critical first step towards permanent residence.
And this slide right here perfectly illustrates the single biggest change. It used to be about where you studied. As long as you graduated from an approved institution, you were generally in good shape. Not anymore. Now it is all about what you study. Your specific program of study is what will decide your future in Canada. For college students, this table makes the new reality painfully clear. Your pathway is now incredibly narrow. Programs in healthcare, the skilled trades, and certain STEM fields, you're safe. But the programs that used to be the most popular, business, general arts, hospitality, are now dead ends. If you graduate with one of these, you will not get a work permit. It's that simple.
The changes also have a huge impact on students with families. The door has been slammed shut on spousal work permits for most people. Unless you are in a master's or a PhD program, or one of a very small number of professional degrees like medicine or engineering, your spouse will not be able to work in Canada while you study. That's a massive financial game changer.
So, with such a massive overhaul, you're always going to have clear winners and losers. Let's break down who is exempt from these tough new rules and who is feeling the most heat.
This chart really shows you who the new rules are designed to benefit. Of those 408,000 total permits, a huge chunk is exempt from the main provincial caps that affect most college and undergrad applicants. Just look at the numbers. Almost 50,000 spots are carved out just for master's and PhD students. They are clearly the new top priority for the government.
And this is the heartbreaking reality for someone who picks the wrong program now. You invest tens of thousands of dollars in a college business diploma, you graduate, and then your work permit gets rejected because your program is no longer eligible. With no Canadian work experience, your path to staying is gone. You have to leave.
But now contrast that with the priority pathway. A student in a master's program not only gets exempted from the cap, but they also get a 3-year work permit after graduating. This lets them get that crucial professional experience, which puts them on a direct path to applying for permanent residence. It's a tale of two completely different realities.
Okay, so we've seen the rules and the reasons, but are these drastic changes actually achieving the government's bigger goals for the country?
So yeah, is the plan actually working? I mean, it's one thing to set these big targets, but it's another thing entirely to see if they translate into real-world results that affect the whole country.
Well, the data here is pretty conclusive. On the government's #1 goal of reducing the temporary resident population, the plan is definitely working. The number of study permit holders dropped from over 1 million at the start of 2024 to about 725,000 by September 2025. They are well on their way to hitting that target of getting below 5% of the total population.
So, if you're still determined to study in Canada after all this, you cannot use the old playbook. It just won't work. You need a completely new strategy to navigate this much, much tougher landscape.
Here is your new checklist. These are non-negotiables. 1. The very first thing you must do is verify if your specific program is eligible for a PGWP. Don't just assume. 2. Choose your province strategically. Some have more room under their cap than others. 3. Understand the spousal work permit rules inside and out, because it could have a massive financial impact on your family. And 4, above all else, prioritize programs that teach in-demand skills in fields like healthcare, trades, and STEM.
And this really is the bottom line. The entire paradigm has shifted. It's no longer just about, can I get accepted to a Canadian school? The real question you need to be asking yourself now is this: are the skills I plan to learn the same skills that Canada is actively trying to recruit? Because in 2026 and beyond, that is the only question that's going to matter.